So, in today's video, we'll be looking into the topic of national income. Alright, so we'll be covering the basic concepts of national income. So, national income is the total amount of income acquiring in a country from economic activities in a year's time. So, in a year, the amount of economic activity that is attributed within a country is related to national income. It includes payments made to all resources either in the form of wages, interest, rent, and profits. Okay, the progress of a country can be determined by the growth of the national income of the country. So, this is the state-wise distribution of the GDP per capita GDP of our country. So, you can just brush up through this. Nothing much of an importance based on UPC viewpoint. Just if you want, you can go and see that the topmost states are, we can say, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala region, or we can say the southern part gives much higher GDP contribution. Okay, so first point is gross domestic product or GDP. So what is GDP? The total value of goods produced and services rendered. So it includes services and goods rendered within a country during a year. This is called as gross domestic product. So equation of GDP is C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So what is Y? Y is a national income, that is GDP. C is a consumer spending, and I is a investment, and G is a government spending. So and X minus M is export minus imports. So within a country, whatever goods and services that you produce, it is calculated in GDP. It includes that of embassies also, embassies and the external territories or colonies that are under that particular country. Okay, so the goods and services produced in the embassies of India, in the external territories of India, or in the internal territory of India contributes to GDP. Even if the country is even if the company that generates income is foreign. If suppose say the Ford has a factory here, and it generates an income inside the country, it is also calculated in the GDP of India. Okay, or suppose if Tata has an office outside India, and it produces products in USA, but that amount is not calculated in the GDP of India. So that is to be noted. Only the income that is generated within the territory of India is calculated for GDP. Okay. So, gross national product, that is the second topic, gross national product. It is the total value of goods and services produced by the people of a country. This is an important point. The people of a country in a given area, it is not territory specific. Okay. So, GNP is GDP plus or minus NR minus NP. That is the equation. So, GDP is gross domestic product, and NR is the net income recipients and net outflow to foreign assets. So in most cases it is plus, because in our country we can see that there are a lot of Indians working outside India. So the remittance that we get is a very huge amount. So this is all the time positive. So far it has been positive. So when we consider the people are working outside India, we will go for GNP. Okay. So what is the difference between GNP and GDP? So GDP is location specific. I told you before, the Ford, the outside foreign company working in India, it is also calculated, its amount is also calculated in GDP. So location is important than nationality. In the case of GNP, nationality is important than location. So just take N as a hint. Okay, so all income generated within a country, regardless of producer nationality, is calculated in GDP. So all income generated by a country's residents, regardless of its resident location, is calculated for GNP. And in GDP, it excludes income from investments in other countries. Another important point: excludes income generated by foreign producers within the country borders. It is excluded in GNP. So that is to be noted. So net domestic product, that is NDP. So it is defined as a net value of all the goods and services produced within a country's geographical borders. Okay, it is considered a key indicator of economic growth of a country. Next, the NDP is calculated by subtracting the value of depreciation. So GDP minus depreciation. What is depreciation? So when you buy a car, so after 2 3 years, if you buy it for 10 lakhs and you want to sell it, you will sell it for let's say 8 lakhs. Okay, 8 lakhs. There will be a decrease of 2 lakhs. Am I right? So the thing is that this value of 2 lakhs, this reduction, it is called depreciation. With time, it the car can get wear and tear, some damage can happen, so that value is called depreciation. So next point is net national product, or NNP. So it is a market value of all the finished goods and services that are produced by the citizens of a nation living domestically and internationally during a year. So NNP is actually it is a GNP minus depreciation. Okay, so here it was GDP. Here it was GDP. NDP is GDP minus depreciation. NNP is GDP GNP minus depreciation. So whenever we can say N starts with N and end with P, we can say it includes what? Depreciation. So next is two topics, that is nominal GDP, and real GDP. Okay, what is nominal GDP? Nominal gross domestic product is a GDP that is evaluated at the present market prices. Okay, GDP is financial equivalent of all the complete products and services generated within a nation in a definite time. So real GDP is inflation adjusted calculation that analyzes the rate of all the commodities and services manufactured in a country for a fixed year. It is expressed in foundation year base prices. So in this case, there will be a base price. Comparing to 2012, the prices in 2020 has increased or decreased. We can say like that. In that case, we will say real GDP. Okay. Now, what is GDP deflector? GDP deflector is another important topic, and the point to be noted is that the equation of GDP deflector is that it is nominal GDP divided by real GDP into 100. So this point is to be noted. It is nominal GDP which is to be divided by real GDP. If GDP deflector is greater than 1, we can say that there is inflation. If it is less than 1, we can say it is there is deflation. So I hope today's topic was clear for you guys. So if you are new to the channel, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to get more videos and informative lectures. So with that, we can end this session. God bless you all. Jai Hind.